for joining us today. Listen, we are just so excited. We wanted to take some time to just share with you a little bit about Women with Grit. What is the story behind it? How did we get started with it? You know, I've got partner in crime here, Lee Willette.
Hey, what's going on?
And I'm Sherelle Lands, and we're just so excited about this concept called Women with Grit, where we interview just exceptional women within the community and around the world who are doing phenomenal things. So how do we get started with this concept, Lee?
Well, I think ultimately it was a reaction to COVID. We were literally working on a different concept that involved women and really helping women have the opportunities to progress in their careers, and we're really putting something together to do that. And we had all these people lined up to interview and to get information from, and COVID happened. So
that changed life for everyone.
It did, and so for us, we were talking one day.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about what we're doing, and I said, I'm thinking about doing this podcast, and I'm thinking about doing this, and you said, okay, let's do it. And so Women with Grit came like
there it is. Big on execution, we make it happen.
Yes, so it's been exciting.
Yes, it has. We've had just phenomenal guests even over the last year, and looking forward to all that's coming ahead. So how can they reach us?
They can reach us on YouTube, Exceptional Women with Grit. You can subscribe to our page. You can check out our Facebook page, Women with Grit, or you can go to our website, womenwithgrit.com.
That's it.
And the best way to catch us is Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, when Sherelle and I are live with our guests. And literally, I think the most exciting thing for me is what we talked about. We wanted to have a program that addressed that brought in women from around the world. So that's our globe here. We literally interview people in Bogota, Colombia, over in London, and then all over the United States as well. So that's been exciting. That's one of the benefits of COVID. Everybody's used to this virtual world, and nobody feels like they have to fly in to be live in the studio.
That's right. So hopefully you will join us live or catch the replay, right?
The replays, that's right. We have a bunch of replays, and I mean, if I were you, I would binge listen. People binge watch on Netflix, binge listen and watch Women with Grit. There have been some phenomenal interviews and some phenomenal tips that will help anyone. We have men and women that watch.
That's right.
And I think the tips that you get, the things that you learn from these women that are our guests will help anyone advance their careers, advance their lives, and just really live a full life and a happy life. And I think that's exciting.
Yes, I will agree 100%. So if you're interested, definitely join us, follow us, engage with us, like us, share it, all of those things. And if you know a phenomenal woman or a woman with grit that you would recommend being on the show, be sure that you write us on any one of those forums, and a member of our team will get back to you.
Yes. And don't forget, if you have a product or service, a company that you want to promote or a cause, give us a shout. We're happy to do that. There is a cost. But it's not much, not yet. So you better get in while it's cheap.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you. And so far, we'll see you online.
Talk to you later. Peace.
Bye.
Well, hello, everyone. We are happy to be live today, live in the studio. Our studios are all over the world.
That's right.
So how are you, Sherelle?
I'm great. How are you, Lee?
Great. Where are you joining us from today?
Today, I am joining from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
Where will I be next week? Next week, I think it's Florida. But
okay.
Yes, Georgia.
Sounds good. I think next week I'm still in Nashville.
Holding down the fort. That's awesome.
Holding it down. We're in the stretch now. Hey, great to see everyone today. We're so excited about our show. We're so excited to be live today. We know that you've gotten a chance to check out some of our replays over the last few weeks, and hope they've been enriching for you, and you've gotten a lot out of them. I know I ran into one of our listeners, Lauren Ladd, a couple weeks ago, and she talked about how excited she was about Women with Grit and how much she's learned from it and how much it's helped her in her career. She's with Bank of America and doing some great things, runs a major part of their operation there, and so if she gets on today, we'll shout her out. And up until now, Sherelle, what have you been doing? What's the weather like there? We're expecting to hit a record high here tomorrow, or get close.
The weather is beautiful. We were down in the 50s this morning, 52, and now up. Last I checked, maybe 75, 78. It's been pretty nice. The day as a whole, it's been nice to get out. No rain. It's not too hot or muggy. Pollen is not everywhere yet, but it's been good. Yeah, it's been really good.
Well, good. Well, before we get started, I want to shout out Sherelle Lands and Vision Strategy Management. Definitely encourage you to check out her website and check out her books and all that she has to offer. Also want to shout out The Table. You can go to the Table website, thetableaction.com. Tell you what, Sherelle, The Table is doing some amazing things, connecting some people together and doing some wonderful things. So check us out. If you have not heard about The Table, you definitely want to learn about it, especially if you're in Middle Tennessee. And then we want to shout out Frank Stanton Developers. We have some great projects that are kicking off, and some acquisitions that we will announce shortly. Well, when I say shortly, within the next 6 months. Development doesn't go that fast.
Right.
Yeah. So we're excited today for you all to join us and hear from the one and only Marie Sewing.
That's right.
And this is Luke Mollett. He's decided to join us.
Hey, Luke. We are a family network.
There we go. He had to make his debut. I think he's going to try to hit me up for money later on.
I mean, what good will we be as parents, right?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So
we're so excited to have Marie on tonight. We are excited about all of the work that she is doing. Listen, if you guys are joining in and this is your first time, and even if you're a returning guest, we are excited to have you. As you all know, we love to engage in the chat function. So please leave your name, city, and state that you're tuning in from. We want to make sure that we say hello to you, make sure that we recognize you all. We've had people join from all over, Lee. We've had Colombia, we've had South Korea a couple times, all across the U.S.
Yeah, all over Europe. So it's been exciting. I can't remember if we had any people from tune in from India or not, but yeah, kind of all over the place. All right.
Yeah, so we'll let you handle that one. Introduce our guest this evening. We have the one and only Miss Marie Sewing. So Marie is the Chief Diversity Officer for the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, also known as Ncbc. And in her role, her efforts include increasing convention and tourism sales for the city of Nashville, enhancing community relations and perception by promoting Nashville's diverse offerings through product development as well as events. She has served in a variety of hospitality roles over the last 31 years in Atlanta, Memphis, as well as Nashville. And prior to joining the Ncbc in 2006, she gained an invaluable industry experience in hotel sales and operations with Marriott International, Gaylord Opryland, and Starwood Hotels Worldwide, respectively. Marie is a member of the National Coalition of Black Meeting Professionals and the Equity and the Equity and Diversity and Inclusion Task Force for Destinations International. She is a life member of both the Nashville chapter of the NAACP and the Native American Indian Association. Marie's board experience includes the Nashville Children's Theater, the Nashville Area Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, From the Heart of International Education Foundation, and if you haven't visited it, you must go and visit it, the National Museum of African American Music. She is the 2020 recipient of the Dr. Evelyn Fancher Community Service Award presented by the Nashville chapter of LeJams, the Apex Award of Distinguished Service presented by Black Meetings and Tourism magazine, and was recognized as a 2020 recipient of the Events Industry Council Social Impact Award. Most recently, she was recognized by the Nashville Business Journal as one of the 2021 Women of Influence. Her community engagement, marketing support, and committee work on behalf of the NCBC is extensive, promoting Nashville's rich history, culture, and entertainment offerings locally, nationally, as well as internationally. Marie and the NCBC team created the NCBC Diversity Council to strengthen the organization's existing diversity efforts and to promote and develop new initiatives that further highlight Nashville's cultural offerings to visitors both near as well as abroad. So, guys, I would love to introduce to you all Miss Marie Sewing. Hey, Marie, how are you?
I'm well. How are you all doing? Can you hear me good?
Yes, you sound great.
All right. All right. Hey, Luke. I have to say hello to him too. Happy to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
We're so excited.
We're happy to have you. We haven't been live in a while, so it's great to have someone live, and no better way to start it off than with you, Marie. So now, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and tell us about your family, and before we get into the heavy questions.
Sure. So hello, everyone. I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. So I was born and raised there. Like my husband said, just this past weekend was my birthday. He said I'm a city girl with Southern charm. So my introduction to the South was in 1986 to go to school in Atlanta. We lived in Atlanta for 7 years. He's from Memphis, so lived in Memphis for a little over a year, and his job relocated us here to Nashville. And so we've been here. This September will be 28 years. So we've seen a lot happen. But but the majority of my family is still up north. I mean, from New York to Jersey to Pennsylvania. I'm the only Southern transplant, I think, from the family. Well, no, I have some cousins, I think, in Jacksonville. But anyway, it's been a journey. I never thought that I would end up in the hospitality industry, but I did start with Marriott Hotels in Atlanta and just grew to love it. I've always been a people person. And so it also afforded me the ability to, as we moved around, to be able to move with the hotel company. And so that was really a wonderful thing. It was with Marriott in Memphis, and then again here. And as I grew here, I was able to expand my experiences across different disciplines within the hotels, gaining valuable experience in various departments. And so here I am today. I've been with the CBC for it'll be 16 years in July. And have certainly over the last 28 years seen a lot of growth and development in Nashville. But I love what I do, and now promoting diversity, equity, inclusion within our organization, as well as telling folks what's here in Nashville to see. And we have customers across the board that are interested in everything that Nashville has to offer, including its unique neighborhoods and history. And we have a lot of that. So in a nutshell.
That's wonderful. So before Sherelle gets to, I think, her next question, we have so many people moving here. You're a transplant. Obviously, 28 years later, the city is different. But what were some of your strategies to network and really get involved in the city? Because you have an extensive network that you've built.
It's just being open to talk to people. It starts with really because we were raising our family here too. So we have 3 children. And so when we moved here, we had 2 and they were 3 and 1. So really what I did was mother and work, and that was it. So really there wasn't a whole lot of networking opportunities early on, but you want to look for those opportunities. So professionally, Nashville has a wonderful community, but it's kind of small. In fact, I joke around and say, you better be careful because you never know who's related to whom. But just being, just trying to get engaged, you volunteer here, or you join an organization here, and there's just so much synergy and in this city that I love. People, they collaborate a lot, even between different organizations. And of course, course, you know Charles very well, Lee. He was, he actually was the one to start the networking first, but we had a lot of the same people in common.
Right.
But I think the real thing for me was just getting engaged, and that really expanded my network.
Gotcha. Yeah, especially after he started the agency, he better network. No
Agree.
customers, no network.
Exactly. But Nashville, it's been a great journey. The city embraced us, but you have to do the work too, to get out and meet people and be a resource for them as well. So, yeah.
Very much so. Well, we are just so excited to have you, especially in the seat that you're in within Nashville. But tell us more about you. So we're interested in knowing your unique story of grit. What would you say is your story as to how you got to where you are today?
It's interesting, and I thought about that, knowing you would ask me that question. It's born in, being raised in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn is a different Brooklyn than it was when I was growing up, right? And so the environment in which I grew up, my family and my mother, they held me close and kept me safe. And, I wasn't allowed to do things that, some of the other folks in my neighborhood were doing or going places. And, of course, as a child, you don't really understand all of that. But just living in that environment, you learned grit, you learned how to survive, you learned how to, get to where you're going and get back home safely. And so, those street survival skills I took with me when I left New York. And they in Atlanta and places like Memphis and even Nashville, they served me well. But it was there are different. You go through different struggles, and life sends you challenges, like it does all of us, right? And so, I was on my own in Atlanta, and just trying to learn, being your first time alone and trying to learn how to be on your own and take care of yourself and all of that. I think this is not a unique story necessarily to me. There's so many people that have to do that. But, I learned and I grew, learned from different experiences. And just building, a family. When we left Atlanta and going to Memphis, we were kind of starting all over again. And but at least we had that supportive family and my husband's side of the family there, which was wonderful. But growing my husband growing his career and us moving again, coming to Nashville and learning a new city and just having small children and not knowing a whole lot of people. We were, it's kind of difficult too when you have a professional career and you don't know a lot of people. You create those networks of other parents that have small children, and you kind of be a resource and help each other out. And right. So, but as our experiences and as my husband's business grew and as I gained experience in my career, we were able to grow. We grew our family. So, I think that takes grit, to be in different places in different cities and not have a huge foundation in a couple of them, but you make your own way. And we had to do that for our children as well. So, yeah.
That's phenomenal. So tell us a little bit more, because you hit on something, and being a professional as well, I understand the nature of moving with children while you're still professional. And then it sounds like, in your case, you said your husband was growing a business. How was it for you balancing all of those things in terms of work life?
And sometimes it was tough. And, sometimes I worked shifts. You work various shifts, and what I really remember though is childcare. And I know a lot of mamas out there, daddies out there can relate. You leave in the office at 5:30 and you just roll it in on two wheels.
Trying to beat that 6 o'clock.
Right. It's 5:59, 6 o'clock, it's 6:01. They're still charging $1 a minute,
Right.
That was a stressful time. I look back and I'm like, dang, how did we make that work? And even when our kids started getting older and being engaged in things after school, and you guys know, whether that's sports or band, and we kept our kids active. So, making sure that somebody is there for that, whose schedule's more flexible, who's getting off at this time. I mean, you're always coordinating as parents. And so we have 3 children. Our daughter's the oldest. Both the 2 oldest ones are out of college, and the youngest one is a senior at Morehouse. But, the youngest one, we really didn't really get him engaged with after school and sports until he was like 9, because our 2 older children were so busy and we were so busy with them. And I was like, I felt like, and I realized now he was pretty young and it was okay. I almost felt like, we was neglecting him. But Lee, you remember him being at UNA.
I do. I remember I remember it vividly.
Yes.
He went on to be a superstar too. So.
So, and he loved that and enjoyed it. But, it is truly a juggling act. And, I just applaud parents out there now, because I remember, going through that. But, it's almost like your parents. You look back at them and you're like, how did they do that with us? Like, how did my mom do that by herself? Or how did, she make way? How did we not ever go hungry? You just make a way. You just do it.
Yeah.
It's just hard to really to put it into words, but we were blessed too. We were blessed. I will say this, and because we really raised our kids here in Nashville, we were blessed with a community. We have friends, that helped and babysat, and their kids came over our house, and if we needed somebody to leave, you've taken my son home before. We needed somebody to, can you grab him for us and we'll pick him up? You build a community. You have to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So one of the things that you've been successful at doing is, obviously raising your kids. And as you mentioned, 2 of them are out, they're paying their own way and doing their own thing. You have one on the way, a year out from at least hopefully being on his own.
Now, come on down, Lee. You know how that works. It's hard out here now.
Rent's gone up, that's for sure.
Nobody wants to come back home, but
but sometimes they have to have a visit.
That's right. It's okay.
So you're able to do that, but then you grew in your career, and so talk about that growth. Especially the struggles. What are some of those things that you look back on now, and you dealt with? And maybe you thought, well, hell, I might as well quit, or I should be doing something else, or what have you. But you pulled on your grit and made it through. That would help some of our listeners.
So I think what happens when you have to look for. So I love the industry, right? And I think I alluded earlier to the fact that I've been able to work in different roles in the industry. And I will remember, so when I was in Atlanta and in Memphis, I worked on the front desk. I did front desk, I was a supervisor, I did night audit in Atlanta and in Memphis. When I got here, because I had experience, I was back on the front desk, which I was fine with. But I was at that point where I was like, if you ever, you understand what a front desk is. People that work at the front desk get everything coming at them. Yeah. And at one point I decided, I'd love to stay here at this property, but I want to do something different. And so you put yourself out there, and something came available in our HR department. I never thought I would work for HR, but I ended up there. And so instead of the visitor being my customer, the internal staff became my customer. And that was a whole different experience. But I love that too. And I think a lot of it has to do with, how you take on new roles and how you approach new challenges. So that was one situation where I was at a pivotal point and I was trying to figure out, I didn't really want to leave, but I wanted to do something different. I remember another situation where, whew, it was invaluable experience, but I was servicing. So instead of sales, you have a hotel, you have, we're talking about meetings and conventions now. We're not just talking about the leisure traveler. So you had the salespeople, but then they would turn over once the client signs the contract. Yes, I'm bringing my conference to your hotel. They turned it over to us, the service department. So we did everything that they needed, from catering to, made sure the meeting rooms were set. If they had an 8 o'clock meeting, you better be there, bells and whistles on at 7, just to make sure. So we went through a period where, remember, this is when our children were little. I think they were 6 and 4 at the time when I was at this property, or 5 and 7. But anyway, there was a time where, and Lee, my husband will tell you this, I think I broke down in the parking lot crying to him because I literally was working almost 30 days straight.
Oh, wow.
And barely seeing my kids. I was out the door before they went to school, and they were in the bed by the time I got home. That's how busy it was.
Wow.
That was a pivotal point, because that was a time when I was thinking, yeah, I think I might need to figure out and do something different. But when you have a positive attitude, and when you have your head down, and when you do good work, people notice, whether you're looking for the opportunity or not. At least that's been my experience.
Right.
And so a position became open in sales.
Okay.
Where it didn't require all those late nights and early mornings necessarily. Sometimes it did, but it was at a good time. It was at the perfect time where I was at a point of, okay, this is a little bit much. I'm not seeing my kids, and so God, I think God worked that out for me, because that was also a starting point for more in the future. But yeah, so my experiences after that, I spent a few years here, and each time was not necessarily a promotion, but a new experience, and something that I always look for something new and to learn more. But I see now, looking back, how each of those roles and experiences have helped to prepare me for work here at the CDC.
That is awesome. Tell us a little bit more about, when you think about the people who have inspired you along the way. You talked about your community, or your tribe, as we like to call it on Women with Grit. Who were those people that inspired you along the way, and that have really championed your success?
So I think, when we look for, when we talk about inspiration and people that inspired me, and I know we're talking about women here, I think you can look for inspiration anywhere, really. If you look for it, you can find it. But for me, it started with the women in my family, starting with my mom, who, she was a young mom, and she, through life's challenges, she was always determined. And sometimes I look back now and we always look back at and see what our parents have done. When you're in it, when you're a child, you really don't know how things happen.
Right.
But she always made a way out of no way, and she persevered. I think she got that from my grandmother. My grandmother was literally 4'9", maybe 11. She was itty bitty, but she was a fighter. She was a fighter, and she persisted, and she was one not to really hold her tongue. And if you can imagine, during that time, when she was, growing up, and all the things that she had to do to take care of girls, I'm just in awe of her by herself.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To my aunties who, they stood in the gap and just were so loving and instrumental in what I see as being an auntie should be. But they were just amazing to me. My sisters, both of them younger than me, but they are truly an inspiration to me. And I learned from them. I think we can always learn from whomever, but I just appreciate them for that. But then I'll say the list goes on, outside my family, my husband, I call them my in-loves. They're not in-laws, they're in-loves. But my husband's family, there's some phenomenal women. His mother has always, I can't tell. I don't have those in-law stories, those bad ones anyway.
Right.
I relate to them because from day one, they were just amazing to me and just so inspirational. But, I have friends and colleagues, community leaders here in Nashville, friends I've met in college, women organizations, you and I were just talking about that.
Yeah.
People that I look up to. Sometimes you don't know when people are watching you. But if y'all are listening and you know me, I'm probably watching you and inspired by you.
So very true.
Yeah, it is true, isn't it?
Yes.
And people can tell who you are, when you're being authentic and not. But the list is endless, to be honest with you. So I'm blessed.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right. So we're about to take a break, but question that you can think about over the break. So in your case, you and Charles have raised your kids together, and both have thrived in your careers. If you were giving a man, or let's say a couple, instructions on how to be supportive to, I'm going to say a man. So if you're giving a husband instructions on how to be supportive to his wife that's on the move, just like you are, what would those instructions be? And you can take some of them from what Charles has done. If he hadn't done anything, you don't have to say it. But
he's not listening right now. He's in a meeting, but he will later.
But yeah, so whatever those instructions would be, if it's some things that he's done or some things you've seen or, some things you've thought of, share those with us when we come back.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. It's hard to believe that over 30 minutes has gone by already.
Hard to. Yes, yeah. We're flying through already. Yeah. Okay, Lee, I got a quick game I want to play with you. And I want to play with her when she comes back. Okay, you ready?
All right.
Don't think about it. It's called This or That, all right? I saw this done somewhere and it was actually pretty cool. So I'm just going to ask you two options and you spit out the one that comes first in mind. Okay, you ready?
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Television series or movie? Don't think about it. You said movie?
I said movie.
Okay, delivery or sit-down restaurant?
Sit down.
Board games or card games?
Card games.
Video games or books?
I don't do either. Let's say books.
Okay, car or truck?
Car.
That's a train.
Train.
Paperback book or ebook? Well, we know you don't
paperback
do book.
Right, paperback.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Country or spring? Country or city?
City.
Broccoli or green beans?
Broccoli.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach all the way. Awesome. Okay. Just think that's like a fun way to get a rapid spitfire to get to know someone and some of the preferences, just hot off the dome and things of that nature. So we'll try that with Marie when she comes back up toward the second half of it as well.
I like that. I was thinking I was creating some kind of algorithm and you're going to tell me what my future was or something.
No, sorry. It was just all for fun. All for fun. It means absolutely nothing as far as I know. Yeah, okay. Absolutely nothing. I mean, in terms of an algorithm to tell you your future, I'm not qualified. I apologize.
Nothing there. Okay. Hey, what do you have coming up? What do our listeners have to look out? I know I'm sure there's a book coming up. Any workshops? What do you have happening?
So that's part of the reason why I've kind of been in my zone. I've been working on book number 5 and honestly need to do a better job of promoting book numbers 3 and 4, because I haven't done a great job of that. Just kind of been head down on a couple of things. We've got a lot of amazing and exciting work from a training perspective, training and development and all of those things, leadership development that we have done. We've done an incredible and phenomenal job. My team has to expand our offerings and things of that nature. So really excited. And I'll say this today, but then I'll come back up a little bit later. I have another entrepreneur in the house now. Her mom has been really delving into helping the younger one cultivate his business that is still in the works. So I won't steal his thunder or anything like that. But once we get it to a space of being able to market it and launch it, I will share it here.
All
So
right.
that's
I'm looking forward to it. Shall we get back to Marie?
Absolutely, yes. Let's bring Maria back up. And just so you know, if you guys are tuning in to Women with Grip, if you have any questions for Marie, please leave them in the chat function. We are just so excited that you have taken the time to join and hear from another inspiring guest that we have on the show. So feel free to leave your questions, any comments, any thoughts for Marie in the chat so we can be sure to grasp them for her.
Yes, and please share to your network. Of course, you all
Yes.
can catch the replay later on this evening. And if your friends that don't have Facebook, then go to our YouTube page where we have many listeners and watchers, so you can check it out. Women with Grit on YouTube. I keep saying YouTube page. It's a channel.
Channel. Channel. I'll put the link down here so our listeners can get to it.
All right. Hey, Marie, you back?
I'm back.
Get
Hey.
some water or some.
I did,
Jack?
yes.
Okay. Water or Jack? No.
It's necessary. Yes.
Okay. Oh, the Jack or the water?
Oh, the water. The Jack is later. No, I'm just kidding.
Understood. Well, Sherelle, you want to go with the game first, or you want to go with the question first?
Let's go with the question first, since that's hot off the dome.
Okay.
All right, Marie. So we just before break, we asked you to give our audience, men or husbands, kind of. Whoops, we got a lot going on here. The tips on what it would take to be successful in helping their wife accomplish their goals. What are the traits? What are the things that a man should do?
You know, first of all, I'm so glad you changed it from instructions to tips, because I was not going to feel very comfortable giving anybody instructions in their marriage. But you know what? I mean, it's to me, it's kind of simple. I think if you're a supportive husband, first of all, how that translates depends on the family and what's happening and transpiring in that family, and what type of support the wife may need. But I think it kind of goes both ways. So if the wife is doing something that the husband, she may need more time. I think we may have lost her. She may need, him to pick up the kids, or to make dinner, or to order dinner in, or, if she is working late, or has, clients that she's entertaining, or even wants to go work out. Sometimes we do neglect ourselves as mothers or as wives sometimes when we are working hard and supporting our husbands and what they have going on. Sometimes we neglect ourselves. Women, we have to stop doing that. Talking to myself. But yeah, these things take time out of our day. And so, my husband's so supportive. He's always been supportive with the kids and everything. But now that they're out the house, we have a year and a half old Havapoo. So,
okay. All right.
we plan in advance. If I've got a dinner after work, or an event to attend, hey, are you going straight home? Can you walk Brooklyn for me? That's a real simple thing, but I'm just saying that's just something that, and just having a positive attitude about it when you're supporting, I think is really important.
Okay. Positive attitude, guys.
That's really important. Yeah.
Right.
Because, you can do the task, but if you don't have the positive attitude, then, whether it's a wife or husband, you don't feel supported. You don't feel like they want to do it.
Right.
And just knowing that you would do the same for that person, and that person would do the same for you. So that might be oversimplifying it, but it really is kind of simple to me.
Yeah, I think, a lot of times, people are looking for this great big something out of the sky miracle cure. And to your point, it's really simple. A lot of things are really simple if we just do the simple things. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
All right, Sherelle's back. What do you have, Sherelle?
I am. Okay, Marie, so quick question for you, and then I want to do a quick rapid fire with you as well. Not the same questions, but a couple different ones. Now, I'm interested in knowing, and if you could share with our audience, did you ever doubt yourself in the process? And if so, how did you overcome those self-limiting beliefs?
Yes. And doubt, of course. And I think doubt is natural. it's a natural part of growing. It's a natural part of if you're about to, try something new, something that you've never done before. You may doubt your ability to do it and be successful at it. I think we all have fears, and we can become anxious, feel uncertain about what we're about to embark on if it's unfamiliar. But I think also we have a choice in what we do with that doubt. Sometimes it can impede progress if you can miss out on opportunities if you just decide, nope, I'm not going to do that because I don't trust myself, or that doubt can really impede progress and growth. But that's only if you let it, because I think it can also be a motivation to do something new and exciting and open up windows of opportunities for you too. Really, it's just about that first step when it comes to doubt.
I like the fact that you said that. What do you think are some core attributes that women need in order to be successful in general? And while this is Women with Grit, we do have a large following of guys as well. So I'm just going to say, what do you feel is necessary for people in general to be successful?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things is grit. I think, that's a huge, because you're always going to have obstacles in the way at some point on your journey. So that, that determination, that resilience, that perseverance to stick to something. I have found, though, that a positive outlook in all situations really, really, really helps. Because I think, first of all, when you bring a positive outlook into a situation, it sets the tone for others. And I have, I try to maintain a positive outlook in all situations, even negative ones, because, it can set the tone for others, but it's also a problem solving. It helps to problem solve, I think, in a more constructive way. And so being creative at problem solving is definitely a skill. Being collaborative, wanting to work with others is huge. Being teachable, we don't all know everything. Be open to learning something new, learning about one another, learning about people that are different from you. And I would say set goals. So having something to strive for, a destination to reach. And then, sharing, lifting as you climb. I heard that, we've all heard that. I just heard that today. I went to NAMAM for a panel discussion. I was actually there on a tour with one of my new colleagues, but then I ended up attending a panel that was going on. And one of the panelists was talking about lifting as you climb, as you are successful, help, reach back and help somebody else up.
That's right. That's good stuff. Okay, you ready for your rapid fire?
Yes, I think.
Okay. Soda or juice?
Juice.
Pepperoni pizza or cheese pizza?
Cheese. New York style.
New York style. Okay, and then to our viewers, type your responses in the chat function as well. We want to hear what your favorites are too. The toilet paper goes over or under?
Over.
Over. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Night or morning?
Depends. I'll say morning.
Credit or cash?
Credit.
Tacos or wings?
Tacos.
Shopping in store or online?
Online.
Shower or bath?
Shower.
Football or basketball?
Basketball.
One more, cake or pie?
Pie.
Awesome. So you have to bring me over to the side of shopping online. I'm working my way there. I'm not there with clothes yet.
You know what? So could I amend my answer? No, I'm just kidding. So it depends what I'm shopping for. I do shop online for clothes now sometimes, but I do like still going to the mall. But for food, household items, I'm Amazon all day long, or Kroger, or Instacart.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm still a in-person shopper as well. I'm a long way. I have Amazon Prime, and it comes in handy when I've forgotten to do something. But other than that, I'm in the store, so I get it.
Well, retailers will love that, Lee.
Yes, yes. Well, and I'm a real estate guy, so I know the rent's got to get paid if we want.
True.
So Marie, so you've been at CVB. You said 16 years.
It'll be 16 in July. Yes.
16 in July, and
Mhm.
I've been able to observe kind of you all's kind of progression of the folks there, um, and you all have had a significant number of women that have risen to the top and risen through the ranks. What is it? And then at the same time, we see organizations and companies they can't figure it out. What is it about your organization that makes it possible for women to move? I don't want to say make it possible. Um, how's the organization essentially gotten out of its own way, or whatever it is that is keeping the organizations from being able to be successful in the promotion of women? What's your organization doing differently?
I love that you noticed that, Lee. I was going to find a way to insert that somewhere, but you know, it starts from the top. You know, when we see the disparities of women in leadership, especially in VP, senior VP, and C-suite roles, um, you know, that comes from a lack of intentionality on the part of leadership. And you know, my CEO Butch Spearden and now President Dina Ivey, I think they have been intentional. You know, they've been here for decades, but they've been intentional about growing us. You know, you have to. I think successful organizations nurture their team members, and they give them opportunities to learn and to grow within their roles, so that they have that opportunity to grow and be promoted and expand, you know, their knowledge base, and also as they're promoted, you know, give them the support that they need, because that's important. You can promote someone and not support them, and then they're not successful. And sometimes in some other organizations, that's used as a reason not to hire a woman, or not to hire someone of color, or not to hire somebody from the LGBT community, you know, but it has to be an intentional effort. And I just think that's true for women, not just women, but people of color in organizations. You know, we saw in 2020, and that's all you have to say right now is just 2020.
Correct. Yeah.
But you know, organizations kind of struggling to figure out what to do to make things right. And it's a good thing if you want to seriously make things right. But we were kind of already doing some of this work before 2020 happened. And so, you know, it's more than just writing a statement about, you know, Black Lives Matter or what have you. But then if you don't do anything, you know, within your organization to promote people, to promote women, to promote, you know, different ethnicities and cultures, then it's really not genuine. So I would say that it's been something that we've been working on for years. I've grown in this role. I started out as a senior sales manager. I came here because I, you know, had the sales experience. But I went from that to business development, and then when we built the Music City Center, I had a whole different role, still in sales, but was working in a new position that was required because of the volume of business that we were bringing into the city, you know. And then became director of multicultural here at the CBC, and then advanced from there. But I was always nurtured and given opportunities and being able to participate in decisions. And so, yeah, I think it starts at the top. You have to be intentional with it.
Got it. Yep. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I've kind of, you know, I recognize different companies and organizations that are successful, and believe it or not, one of the things that Sherelle and I were going to start off doing before Women with Grit was to hold these focus groups to find out what companies are doing to be successful in the promotion of women, and try to, you know, utilize those tools to help companies that are struggling. And so thanks for sharing with that. Is you're saying it has to be intentional from the top, not from the bottom. Okay. Gotcha. So, what do you like to do for fun?
Ooh, sleep.
Right.
You know what? I love to travel. I would like to, you know, time, time is what it is. And
Mhm.
so I do love to travel. I just like to, I'm a simple girl, I go out to
Okay.
dinner.
Mhm.
I love to go out to, concerts. And we just went to see Kim and Babyface.
Okay.
Just went to the Black Opry at City Winery. I just like to get out and do things like that.
I
Cultural
missed
things.
that one. I missed the Black
It was
Opry.
really, really good. It was the first anniversary of it.
Really?
So yeah, it was amazing. I really love to get out to different venues and hear music.
Mhm.
Spend time with friends, spend time with, my kids and my husband. So there's not a whole lot of downtime. So
Right.
I'm intentional about, you hear this word intentional, it's probably used to death over these last couple of years, but I'm intentional about my private time. So
Okay.
yeah.
Got Gotcha.
Important.
Yeah, very, very important.
Important. So, how can we have our guests engage with you? Do you have any products, upcoming events, things of that nature that you would like to share?
So the NCBC is the marketing arm for Nashville. For those of you who don't know, every city has a convention and visitors corporation or bureau or whatever they want to call it for that city. And what we do is market our city. We compete with other destinations for meetings and conventions, and we want leisure travelers to come see us. So yes, please reach out to me if you're a member of an organization that has a meeting or convention, or you got a tour group or a family reunion or what have you. Please reach out to us. We have a variety of wealth of information and a variety of resources to help you, find your hotels, your convention centers, or whatever it may be, attractions, cultural events in the city. Visit us at visitmusiccity.com. Um, and you'll find lots of information there.
All right.
Fantastic.
All
Go
right.
ahead,
And
baby.
believe it or not, we're almost at the end.
We
Go
can't be.
Yeah.
Wow, that time goes fast.
Time goes fast,
Mhm.
goes fast. So if you would you share any nuggets that you'd like to leave with our guests? Nuggets for success in whatever area you want to leave it in, whether it's family, career, whatever it is.
What's worked for me is just being yourself. Um, I said I'm a simple girl. Just being yourself. You know, bring those talents that you have. Bring those to the table. A lot of times, especially when folks are in leadership, you know, they may not value what their employees or their team members bring to the table, and everybody's not the same. Different people have different gifts, and so don't be afraid to share your gift and look for the gift in others, because that's really what can make your organization, your company successful. Yeah, encourage your folks to bring their authentic self to work.
Okay, I love it. I love it. And as we wrap up, Sherelle does this great wrap up and summarization of the conversation. So Sherelle is up. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I
All
was
right.
Right. So again, thank you all for joining this evening with Marie Sewing. Listen, this has been a phenomenal time. So thank you so much, Marie. I have just been attentively listening and capturing all the feedback that we can share with our guests. So this is what I've captured. Feel free to offer modifications, corrections, etc., additions if you'd like to as well. So one, just do it. Oftentimes, we will make a way, we find a way. So, Marie gave an example, just in terms of growing up and the aspect of having that grit to find a way. Sometimes things just happen. We're kind of like, we look back on it, we're like, well, how do we get from this point to the next? Just do it. And the role will begin to materialize along the way. Building community is so important. So, who champions your success? Who are those people that you can lean on when it comes to whether we're building your organization, pioneering something new for yourself, or even as it relates to being successful in your corporate career? How you take on new roles and approach new challenges really matters. So think about that positive mindset that you have whenever you approach something new. Have a positive attitude. Do good work and know that the right people will notice you along the way. So she talked about the nature of sometimes you got to keep your head down. You got to make sure that you are operating from that space of grit and know that the right people will notice you and give you those opportunities. Inspiration is everywhere. Sometimes we just have to open our eyes and be willing to see it. So recognize that it is happening all around you. She gave us two very important P's. She said persistence and perseverance when it comes to being successful, when it comes to being able to be intentional in what you're doing. Recognize that it takes persistence and it also takes perseverance. You never know who is watching you and who is inspired by you. So continue to walk in your truth. Continue to move in such a way that you're proud of and that is authentic to yourself. Recognize that doubt is a natural part of growing and also trying something new. But the difference is, what do you do with that doubt? Do you allow it to derail you, or do you allow it to propel you? So what you do with it is truly your decision and your choice. Recognize that a positive outlook in all situations is helpful to maintaining or continuing to push forward. She gave us 2 C's in dealing with situations with people, right? She talked about being creative as well as collaborative. So those are 2 C's that you want to take with you whenever you walk into a new situation with people. Also, be teachable. Recognize that there's always something to learn. So be coachable, be ready to sponge and absorb something new. Set goals and have something to strive for. Recognize that if you don't have a goal, sometimes we just aimlessly spin or we do that whole circular motion without getting any traction. So recognize that setting a goal helps to clarify and give you direction. Lift as you climb. So as you have been given opportunities and as you cultivate those opportunities, also be willing to share them to other people as well. Recognize that you are enough. You are enough. Yes, you are enough. So be your authentic self and bring your talents to the table, figuratively and literally the table with Lee and Kate. And don't be
Hey,
afraid
good
to
plug.
share your gifts with others, huh?
That's a great
Of
plug.
course. Yes, to the table, figuratively and literally. That's right. And then don't be afraid to share your gift with others. People need exactly what you have to offer in the way that you have, in the way that God has given it to you in order to bless others. So that is what I have. Thank you again, Marie. This has been
That's that Lead Academy or yeah, Lead Academy when good things happen.
Yeah, they do. I think they do it at KIP too.
KIP. Okay, I think I've done it. I've done that at KIP at the breakfast and yes.
That was awesome. Thank
awesome.
you. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Marie,
you.
for joining us this evening. And we encourage all of you, our listeners, to like and share and like. Make sure your friends catch our replay on Women with Grit on Facebook or our Women with Grit YouTube channel. And you can also go to the www.womenwithgrit.com and check us out on our website. But this was a phenomenal conversation. It's great to get to know your friends even better, and this forum allowed that for me. And so, thank you, Marie, for your time. Sherelle, as always, great to see you, and we'll see what's going on next Tuesday. Remember, everyone, 6 p.m. We've changed our time from 7 to 6. I have to remember that sometimes myself.
Yes, well, help us share to get the word out about the new time. But we're so excited to have you.
Yes. All right.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. This has been awesome. It's been fun sharing with you all, and hopefully something I said resonates with someone.
You know, I'm sure it will. As I mentioned to Sherelle, when I mentioned one of our listeners earlier, but someone stopped me one day after a table meeting and just talked about how much she's learned and how Women with Grit helped her through a tough time in her career, and how thankful she was for the show. And so I know something you shared today will be beneficial to others. So, and want to shout out Sharonda Scott. Great to see you again. and Tanya Davis, Thurkill, and all of you others. Leslie Hardy. I've known Leslie for over 30 years, so her son's my godson. But great to see everybody. Didn't mean to miss you, but we do appreciate you all tuning in.
That's right. We'll see you next week with another amazing Woman with Grit. Until
All right.
next time. Have a good night.
Peace, everyone. Have
Good
a great
night.
week. Good night.